We finally reached a whopping 10,000 subs, guys. And as a treat, I've got something special planned for you. A fair few of you have requested this over the last few years, and I've been meaning to cover it myself.
So, you finally made it. About time.
Without further ado, I thought it was about time that I shed some light on Kingdom Hearts. Yes, Kingdom Hearts. Quite possibly the pinnacle of Disney games. Well, until Kingdom Hearts 2, that is. In fact, a fair few of the games in this franchise are among the best Disney games ever made. Now, that might not come as a surprise to you. Kingdom Hearts 1 and 2 are frequently heralded as two of the best video games of all time.
We're the champs!
And while at first glance you might think this rather dubious,
That's one funny face.
do not be fooled. While this series is often derided for its convoluted plot and awkward dialogue, often justifiably so,
What's that mean?
it's certainly not without its heart. And I mean that both figuratively and literally.
There's no way you're taking Kyrie's heart!
If I took a shot at every single time the word heart is mentioned in this franchise, I'd probably be flat on my face by the end. No, I'm not doing that, before you ask.
Your heart.
No heart.
And her heart?
And we have a heart.
Without her heart.
The heart is no different.
Yeah, you get the point. But for all its heart jargon, as I call it, Kingdom Hearts 1 is fairly straightforward narratively.
That's good.
And as such, it's easy to become absorbed. This is essentially a crossover. Disney meets Final Fantasy.
Hey, what's happening, man?
Now, I'm really only familiar with Final Fantasy VII, otherwise my knowledge of the franchise is pretty limited. Fortunately though, you don't really need to know a great deal about the franchise to become invested. If there's anything I do know about, it's Disney, and the sheer attention to detail in this game is outstanding.
Wars. Can we see it?
This franchise is really something of an oddity to me, as it doesn't sound like a concept that should work.
What's that supposed to mean?
But for the most part, it really does.
See ya!
Not only is it a crossover, it's a fully fleshed out world in its own right.
Exactly.
The main ensemble of Sora, Riku and Kairi is entirely original, and they adopt a sort of Final Fantasy Disney hybrid style, with Sora's massive yellow shoes conveying major Mickey Mouse vibes. Apparently the developers initially wanted Mickey Mouse to be the main character, but this idea was later rejected.
He can't come.
What?
Forget it.
And I think that's all for the better. It wouldn't work well at all with Mickey at the helm. Indeed, in place of Mickey, Sora has quite literally got some big shoes to fill. Hey, I wonder if his feet are as big as Mickey's. For this review, I'll be taking into account the original Kingdom Hearts on PS2, and I'll also be drawing comparisons with the Final Mix version. For those who don't know, Kingdom Hearts Final Mix was released a few months later in Japan on PS2, and remastered and released internationally in 2013 for PS3, with some other additional content. For this video, I've played the 2017 PS4 release of Final Mix. Now, as usual, I will be covering this game from start to finish. However, I want it to be noted that I will not be covering absolutely everything, such as all of the Keyblades and Gummy missions. It was far too much for this video alone. My main priority is the main story, but I will be covering some of the extra optional stuff towards the end. Now, the general consensus seems to be that Kingdom Hearts 2 is the better game, but I don't think it's as simple as that. There are aspects of this first game that I much prefer. Huge ones, in fact.
Are you quite sure?
And for those who don't know, the Final Mix versions contain some notable changes. Playing the original and the remaster immediately afterwards is a very strange experience. When you're so familiar with the original, stumbling upon something different is quite jarring. The remaster adds a bunch of new enemies, and these really took me by surprise.
Come on!
Think of Final Mix as a sort of director's cut. Now, since there is a lot of additional material, you might immediately conclude that the Final Mix version is superior. As such, the original is often majorly overshadowed by the remaster. The question is the original Kingdom Hearts deserving of the throne, or should it remain shrouded in darkness? In the original game, you can choose between normal mode and expert mode, but in Final Mix, this was altered to beginner mode, standard mode, and proud mode. And And I'm proud to say I'll be playing both versions of this game on the highest difficulty level. Just saying.
Let's see what you can do.
I'm not overly certain how different Expert Mode and Proud Mode are, but the latter seems a little tougher to me. The game opens with a bizarre and cryptic dream sequence that foreshadows certain events. A boy named Sora finds himself falling in the darkness and eventually winds up on some kind of stained glass surface, where he's spoken to by an ethereal voice, beckoning him to choose between the power of the mystic, the power of the warrior, and the power of the guardian, and to give up one in exchange. They don't tell you this, but this affects Sora's stats. For example, selecting the power of the guardian increases defense, and giving up the power of the mystic decreases your magic power. The rest of this introduction acts as a tutorial, allowing you to practice basic combat by doing battle with the Heartless. Eventually, Sora wakes up on Destiny Islands.
Sora, you lazy bum.
Where we meet his close friends Riku and Kairi. And here I was thinking the goofiest laugh I'd hear in this game would be Goofy's. The three friends live together on the island, but don't know why they're there and want to explore other worlds, so they build a raft.
But how far could a raft take us?
Who knows? If we have to, we'll think of something else.
The first tasks are very basic. We need to gather supplies and provisions for the raft. But it's also wise to talk to others on the island, as you get to practice combat. You can lock onto a target with R1 and switch targets by pressing L2 and R2. And at this stage, that's pretty much it. As basic as it is, it's wise to give it a try just to get used to it, and earn some experience points. The more you fight, the more experience you earn and level up. One of the toughest fights is with Riku. This is quite deliberate story-wise. Riku is extremely competitive against Sora.
Sora!
He tosses Sora a Paopu fruit.
If two people share one, their destinies become intertwined. They'll remain a part of each other's lives, no matter what.
And Sora's intention is to share the Paopu fruit with Kairi. With the raft built, Riku and Sora try to decide on a name for it, and decide to settle on one with a race.
And if you win,
I get to share the Paopu with Kairi.
oh.
Initially, the platforming is a little awkward. And it doesn't help that the camera is practically halfway up Sora's rectum. Once again, Riku poses a challenge here. It's possible to beat him, but all you get as a reward is a pretty stone, which I don't think serves any purpose other than that it can later be sold for money. While foraging, Sora takes some time out to add to the childhood carving of him and Kairi, when he encounters a mysterious hooded figure.
This world has been connected, soon to be completely eclipsed.
Stop freaking me out like this.
It's an intense moment, but it's kind of funny that as soon as the mysterious figure vanishes, the carefree tropical music instantly starts up again. Talk about a total whiplash. Meanwhile, at Disney Castle, the royal magician Donald Duck discovers that King Mickey is missing. And has left behind a note, explaining that worlds have been vanishing, and that he needs Donald and Captain of the Guard Goofy to find a certain key bearer and stay with him to ensure their survival.
It's top secret.
Oh, good morning, ladies.
What?
He also instructs them to find someone named Leon, and Jiminy Cricket also tags along to chronicle the journey.
Jiminy Cricket at your service.
At the King's request, Donald and Goofy take the Gummi Ship to Traverse Town. Back on Destiny Islands, a storm starts brewing, prompting Sora to leave his room to investigate.
Sora! Dinner's ready! Come on down! Sora?
You know, there are more than 10 games in this franchise, and we still don't know what became of Sora's mom. He never even mentions
I
her.
wonder if I could find Riku and Kairi.
And your mom, right? Don't forget your mom. She must be worried sick. If she's alive. Avoiding all the Heartless, Sora races to Riku.
Door is open, Sora. Now we can go to the outside world.
What are you talking about?
Riku is engulfed in darkness, while Sora is inexplicably gifted the Keyblade, with which he can fend off the encroaching Heartless.
Come on!
He also briefly encounters Kairi,
Sora...
but fails to save her as she seemingly passes through him and disappears. After one more face-off against a giant Heartless, the islands are completely destroyed, sending Sora into the void.
Look, a star's going out.
Donald and Goofy make it to Traverse Town, which is also coincidentally where Sora winds up. As it turns out, Traverse Town is a place consisting of remnants of destroyed worlds.
This isn't a dream.
Despite the threat of the Heartless, it has a very cozy feel. I love the music here, but I have to say I prefer the original soundtrack. See, for the final mix remaster, the game's music was recomposed, and although they did a good job, there are some nuances that I think are lost. Some might say I'm being nitpicky here, but the jaunty piano heard in Traverse Town is much more subdued in final mix. Overall, I'm a little conflicted regarding the music recompositions. It's nice to hear the music with a live orchestra rather than synthesizers, but some of the themes sound like pale imitations to me. It's not awful by any means, but some of the original pieces have a certain edge to them, while the final mix tracks seem to lack oomph.
What are you talking about?
It's hard to explain, and if you're not too discerning, you probably won't notice the difference. I just think the original soundtrack has more bite to it overall.
They'll come at you out of nowhere.
Who are you?
Eventually we stumble upon Leon, aka Squall Leonhardt from Final Fantasy VIII, and briefly fight him. Now, one thing I find interesting about this game is that there are cutscenes for different scenarios. In this instance, it's possible to either lose the fight or win.
No way. I can lose.
It doesn't impact the narrative at all, but it's cool that the developers did this. Rest assured though, Leon is in fact a friend. Jeez! With friends like these, who needs enemies?
Looks like things are worse than we thought.
Meanwhile, Donald and Goofy bump into Leon's friend Aeris, otherwise known as Aeris in Final Fantasy VII. Here she's voiced by Mandy Moore.
When the Heartless came, everything changed.
Who coincidentally went on to voice a Disney princess herself. And interestingly, she did not reprise the role of Rapunzel for Kingdom Hearts 3, which is a shame. She could have been the voice of 2 characters in this franchise. It's also a shame she didn't return for Kingdom Hearts 2, as the voice actress they got to replace her, well...
This is great. Everyone's together again.
Yeah, let's just say her heart wasn't in it. Taking refuge in a hotel room, Leon and the great ninja Yuffie explain that the Heartless prey on the darkness in hearts, and that they eventually consume whole worlds.
Hey, have you heard of someone named Ansem?
Over the course of the game, it's also explained that their ruler Ansem was studying the Heartless, only for him to go missing and for his report to be scattered throughout the worlds.
Oh, then maybe the king went to find them.
The Heartless have been accessing the hearts of the worlds through keyholes, portals that can only be sealed by the mysterious Keyblade. As you progress in the game, you unlock new, more powerful Keyblades, and they're interchangeable. As I said, I won't go into detail about every single Keyblade, but you'll see me using various different Keyblades throughout the review, and this is obviously why.
That's the power of the Keyblade!
Indeed, Sora's newfound weapon is the key to success. By the way, the final mix version contains extra scenes, such as this one that shows how Riku meets Maleficent. I actually think this is a logical addition to the game as it explains where he's got to, but without this cutscene, it's still easy to put the pieces together yourself. Sora soon encounters Donald and Goofy, and they team up to take care of the Heartless. And it's here where we come across Guard Armor, a rather tough Heartless that, in my opinion, presents a pretty substantial difficulty spike at this stage of the game. As you destroy parts of Guard Armor, it distributes health balls, which do indeed help a great deal. A while later in the game, you earn the Cure ability, meaning you can use magic to heal yourself.
Heal!
But until then, you can use any potions you've purchased or collected.
Here!
As you level up, your health, HP, magic power, MP, and ability power, AP, increase. Depending on how much AP you have, you can equip any abilities you've learned. Now, Donald and Goofy are skilled in different things. While Donald specializes in magic, Goofy is basically a tank, prioritizing defense. As the game unfolds, Donald and Goofy will also level up and gain AP slots. And it's up to you to upgrade them as you see fit. Often Donald will also help you with spells during battle. Well, he's supposed to, but he's a bit of a lame duck. Yeah, one common complaint is that Donald often fails to do this in good time. and I partly agree. There were several times I was dangerously low on health and gave up waiting for Donald to intervene, but as soon as I healed myself, Donald would then heal me, wasting my MP or a potion. Oh, God love a duck. You couldn't maybe have healed me a few seconds earlier? However, many of the issues with your party members can be alleviated by customizing the frequency of specific moves. I would wager many issues with Donald could be fixed if more players utilize this feature. It's also advisable to equip all 3 party members with the best possible weaponry and accessories at all times.
Not bad, huh?
Fail to do this, and you have no right to blame the CPU for their lackluster performance. But at the same time, when you first meet Donald and Goofy, I do feel as though the AI should be bolstered somehow. At this stage, to get to grips with your party, you could really do with Donald's help. But he's very quick to perish, leaving you completely helpless. Even after tailoring Donald's moves to suit my style, he's often the first party member to die. It's kind of funny when you've barely begun a fight and you hear Donald's defeated duck noises. He's literally a dead duck. A few hits and he's cream quackered. It's also amusing that he often seems to wake up raring to kick some ass, only to find that the fight's already over. Yeah, you're a little late to the party, dude. Not exactly an early bird, are you? Anyway, with guard armor defeated, Sora, Donald and Goofy join forces.
We need them to come with us to help us find the king.
I gotta tell you, I'm so grateful for subtitles right now. Donald also adds that Sora needs to smile if he intends to join them.
No frowning, no sad face.
At first I thought this was genuinely something Donald says to cheer Sora up, but it turns out the Gummi Ship really does run on happy faces. And so begins their long and arduous journey.
All for one, one for all.
Believe me, it is a long one. Jiminy's got his work cut out for him. Speaking of which, the journal is pretty neat. Not only does Jiminy record Sora's story, but you also find entries for Ansem's report, documenting his research of the Heartless and providing some additional backstory. There are 10 of these in the original game, but 3 more entries were added for Final Mix. As you meet new characters and enemies, they're added to the journal, providing a short biography, details of their first appearances, and a model of them which you can rotate with the right analog stick. Well, you can rotate most of them anyway. For some reason, Queen Minnie won't rotate at all in either version of the game. She remains stoically stiff.
Stiffer than the stiff's bag on.
You said it, Hades! And speaking of Hades, it's revealed that the trio are being eerily watched by a circle of silhouetted Disney villains, led by the Mistress of Evil herself, Maleficent.
Look on the eyes, they're all built rats by the look of them.
You're no prize yourself.
Shut up!
One thing I love about the Disney villains is that they would probably be able to effectively rule all worlds, but they're all so selfish, and their internal squabbles prevent them from working together, as exemplified by Hades here.
Who invited you to the party? Stay out of this. This is my show.
Hey, I guess we should have expected him to be a hothead. Anyway, it's at this stage that we're first introduced to magic. To begin with, we can only use the fire spell. Fire! But you learn other spells as you progress, and these are also upgraded at certain points in the game. These include other elemental powers, such as ice and thunder. Later in the game, you gain the power to stop time, freezing enemies in motion. And the power of gravity, forcing enemies to the ground, which is particularly useful for grounding airborne foes. You can activate whatever spells you've learned by accessing the magic menu. But to make things easier, you can customize the menu, so you have easy access to a select few spells, which is particularly useful during combat. Holding L1 makes this quick menu pop up, and then you simply have to press a button you've assigned a particular spell to. Fire! What you'll notice is that the spells are derived from Final Fantasy games, as are many of the items you can find and use throughout the game. Here! While potions can be used to refill HP, ether can be used to refill MP. This should help. Using an elixir will boost both HP and MP. And you can purchase these from shops or retrieve them when an enemy drops them. Save points are these circular patches of green light on the ground, and standing on one of these automatically refills your HP and MP. I have to admit, with Kingdom Hearts, I was always a bit of a chronic saver. There are occasions when the game surprises you with difficulty spikes. And even now, despite being familiar with the game, I still save pretty frequently. In the words of the 3 Mr. Hydes,
Save it now
or risk doing it again.
Sound advice. Before we leave Traverse Town, I just want to briefly mention a few things. First of all, just outside the 3rd district, you can find an empty house, belonging to Merlin from Disney's 1963 movie The Sword in the Stone, who hockety-pocketies some furniture to make it more homely.
Hockety-pockety-wockety-whack.
While here, you can practice targeting your magic on the furniture, which is cool. Meanwhile, in the 2nd district, you can find the Dalmatians house, based on 1961 movie 101 Dalmatians.
101!
Pongo and Perdita's world was destroyed, and the 99 puppies have all been lost amid the chaos. Throughout the game, you'll find chests containing puppies, and finding them for Pongo and Perdita rewards you with special prizes. I guess you could call that a spot prize. Speaking of prizes, in the 1st district there's also a mailbox. Scattered around Traverse Town, you can find a total of 10 postcards, and mailing them rewards you with gifts. These postcards range from being really easy to find to pretty obscure. I think the most obscure one is one found in a random wall. Like, why would you even think to look here? Answers on a postcard. And then mail it. You might get a present. When we're ready to leave, we can board Donald and Goofy's Gummi Ship. This is what you use to travel between worlds and discover new ones. And you can disembark at most of the permanent save points you've discovered. Throughout the game, you can find gummy blocks that you can use in the Gummy Garage to improve your ship. Although if I'm being completely honest here, I do not care much for the Gummi Ship, and I'm sorry if that offends any Gummi Ship fans out there. I'm sure all 3 of you are absolutely crushed. The standard ship that you use from the outset is incredibly slow. You can fire your cannon with the X button, and if you have a laser attached, you can press triangle to fire that too. In the early stages of the game, all the ships you can make are pretty slow. There are lengthy periods of vast emptiness when you're in transit. You can practically hear the crickets chirping. Jiminy, keep it down back there, yeah? I'm trying to drive. If, for whatever reason, you want to slow down at any point, you can hold the circle button to decelerate. You know, just in case it wasn't slow enough for you. Oddly, in Final Mix, the X and circle buttons have been swapped around, and I don't know why this is. Perhaps they were just desperate for ways to liven things up a bit. Throughout the game, I did have a good go at building my own ship, and you can give it a badass name too. Everybody, say hello to Steve. There you go, doesn't that look better? Okay, it's a fucking eyesore, but hey, I tried, okay? Not too far into the game, you obtain a gummy block that allows you to warp between locations you've already visited, which is a bloody relief. I did eventually wind up with enough components to make ships that were much faster. You can even equip your Gummi Ship with a speed boost and a powerful shield. But by that point it seemed a little redundant, as I'd already discovered most of the locations, and after that I didn't really bother with the ship at all. What I will say is this though, in Kingdom Hearts 2 they made the Gummi Ship segment a lot more frenetic, fast-paced and engaging. But at the same time, I actually think this game does a much better job of conveying the concept of a journey. Like, it actually feels like you're travelling. Granted, that's because it's boring as hell. Alright, that's a bit harsh. It does the job, I suppose. I just didn't really care to do all the stuff in the Gummy Garage. In fairness to the Final Mix version, they added Gummy missions so you can attempt to get a high score and earn more stuff. So at the very least, they tried to get you to give more of a shit about it. I don't, but it was a nice try. Also, I'm not sure if it's just me, but some of the instructions they give you seem needlessly confusing. The Gummi Ship isn't actually too difficult to get to grips with, but initially it feels very alien. I really think it could be explained better. Is there not a simpler manual I can use? Like Gummies for Dummies or something? Before long, we arrive at the first Disney world, Wonderland, based on the 1951 movie Alice in Wonderland. Hey, it took a while to get here, but better late than never, eh? And we're not the only ones who are late.
I'm late! I'm late! I'm late! Oh, the Queen! She'll have my head for sure!
Sora, Donald and Goofy follow the White Rabbit to the bizarre room, where it becomes apparent that he's shrunk.
How did he get so small?
No, you're simply too big.
The surly knob, and yes, he really is a knob, suggests drinking from the bottle, which makes the trio shrink. This enables us to access the Queen of Hearts castle, where Alice herself is on trial.
I'm on trial? But why?
One thing I find admirable about these games is that they often manage to obtain the original voice actors from their respective franchises. And to my surprise, this is actually the original voice of Alice, Catherine Beaumont.
You may be queen, but I'm afraid that doesn't give you the right to be so mean.
Silence! You dare defy me?
Alice is accused of attempting to steal the Queen's heart. Oh, how romantic.
Good lord, why? I mean, just look at her. She's hideous. No offense.
Off with his hand!
Ah! No, of course not.
When the Queen says her heart has been stolen, she's referring to her heart in the metaphysical sense, her very essence, no doubt preyed upon by the Heartless.
She's not the one you're looking for.
That's nonsense. Have you any proof?
Sora, Donald and Goofy then go searching for 4 pieces of evidence to free Alice, with help from the Cheshire Cat. Feeding the flowers specific items will reward you somehow. This one asks for a potion in exchange for making you bigger, allowing you to change size to solve puzzles. There are several openings leading to the bizarre room here, but every entryway makes you enter the room at a different angle. It's really,
Well, bizarre. Does what it says on the tin, I suppose.
The 4 pieces of evidence aren't too hard to find. However, this one is kind of irritating, mostly because Donald and Goofy just cannot comprehend personal space. I was trying to make my way over to the ledge next to the faucet, but Donald just stood in the way. Come on, move. There will be other times during the game when you want to use the first person mode to take in your surroundings, to get a good look around you, and for God's sake, Goofy, back off! I swear I could just imagine him breathing heavily in my face.
And you just know he has dog breath. I mean, he is a dog.
Seriously though, this is gonna sound really nitpicky, but your teammates follow you far too closely. They practically step on your toes at all times, and it makes me feel a little claustrophobic.
Get away from me!
Sometimes there'll be something you really need to see, but Goofy or Donald will just stand right in your field of vision.
Get out of the way!
There are these white mushroom Heartless, who will act out certain gestures to indicate that they require a certain spell.
Thunder!
For example, sometimes they might start shivering, implying they need fire to warm them up.
Fire!
Or they might be fanning themselves and need cooling down.
See ya!
They perform 3 of these actions, and if you get the right spell for each one, they reward you with MP and other gifts as they vanish. Some of them took me a while to figure out though. What is he doing here?
Is it a book? A film? Give me a clue here. I was never much good at charades.
Heal!
Overall, these are fun to practice magic with. That is if you can see them. Goofy, would you mind? Do you have to stand there? Seriously? Also, I'm not sure if it's just me, but sometimes I find myself irritated by the constant cacophonous clip-clopping of Sora and Goofy's shoes.
Guys, can you not wear softer shoes? This is really annoying.
Anyway, with all the evidence obtained, the Queen disregards it anyway, so that was pointless. Here you need to destroy the tower to drop the cage containing Alice. But once the tower is demolished, it turns out Alice is missing. Later in the bizarre room, we face another large Heartless called Trickmaster. This is a pretty standard fight, but it can be a little annoying. The easiest way to land a hit is by first jumping on the table. And repeatedly climbing up here gets a little tiresome. What you've probably already noticed is that in Final Mix, many of the Heartless adopt a very different colour palette, and this guy is one of the most drastic changes. Now, cards on the table, I much prefer the colours of most of the original enemies. To me, the deep blue and purple hues convey a very Disney quality that simply suits the feel of the game. Some of the colours in Final Mix feel rather cold by comparison, even bland at times. They're not necessarily awful. If I wasn't already familiar with the original, I wouldn't be complaining, but a lot of these just feel like changes for change's sake. In the original game, Trickmaster is a red and black colour, which not only connotes danger, but it's also fitting considering red and black are the colours of the Queen's playing cards. By comparison, this garish pink thing looks so out of place to me. It feels like such an unusual change to make.
Well, colour me confused.
Shortly after this, the keyhole to this world is revealed, and Sora can seal it using the Keyblade. By this point in the game, there are a couple of other worlds we can visit, and while you can choose whichever one you want, the battle level of each world, and therefore the difficulty, is indicated on the map, suggesting which one would be better to visit first. This map is also much easier to navigate in Final Mix, as you can basically hover over the map to select your destination. In the original, you can only navigate the map from one world to the next, which is really restrictive. One thing I also like about this game is that the worlds are not revealed until you reach them. I kinda wish this was also the case with Kingdom Hearts 2, as I like the build-up and the surprise. Anyway, the next world we find is the Olympus Coliseum. This is derived from Disney's Hercules, and it went on to become a regular world throughout the Kingdom Hearts series. First of all, we meet Hercules' trainer Philoctetes, who's preparing for the games.
Move that pedestal over there for me. I gotta spruce this place up for the games.
Sorry, that's for the games. Naturally, the pedestal is far too heavy, and Phil realizes you're not who he thought you were.
Heroes are coming from all over to fight ferocious monsters right here in the Coliseum.
You've got heroes standing right in front of you.
Sora then takes it upon himself to prove his worth, first by completing some rather dull barrel bashing.
Come on!
And yet, despite Sora's victory, Phil still refuses to let him enter the games.
Why not?
2 words. You guys ain't heroes.
Come on!
As we head back to the ship, we're accosted by a familiar face.
Rather a stubborn old goat, wouldn't you say?
Hades hands Sora a pass, permitting entry to the preliminary tournament.
It's all yours. Good luck, kid. I'm pulling for you, little shorty.
The trio then fight their way up the ranks with Phil as their coach, but unsurprisingly, Hades has an ulterior motive.
I know it says you're only required to kill Hercules in this tournament, but you gotta fight that kid to get to him.
Eventually, the trio must face Cloud, the protagonist from Final Fantasy VII. Cloud might seem like a bit of a difficulty spike, but you're not really expected to win this fight. As was the case with Leon, it's possible to either win or lose. Also, I'm not sure if it's just me, but seeing and hearing Goofy wailing on Cloud will never not be funny to me. Shortly afterwards, the Colosseum is attacked by Cerberus. Luckily, the Demon Hound is temporarily stalled by Samwise Gamgee. Oh, I mean Hercules, but he's voiced by Sean Astin, so all I hear is Samwise Gamgee.
Hooray!
No, not that one.
Frodo!
That's the one!
Phil, get them out of here!
Cerberus is enormous and rather tough, and I think it's advisable to level up before facing him. Ah, quick, Donald, heal me! Never mind. Here, the guard ability is a godsend. One of the most effective ways to win this fight is by parrying the Demon Hound's attacks, and hitting him when there's an opening. With Cerberus defeated, the trio are dubbed Junior Heroes, but Phil claims they don't yet have what it takes to be true heroes.
So, what does it take?
Well, that's just something you'll have to find out for yourselves. Just the way that I did.
Roger, Sam. Pack your bags, guys. We're going to Mordor. Since the Colosseum needs sprucing up after the battle, it's time to move on.
Okay, we'll be back.
Now, this is a world that I'll frequently come back to, as you're encouraged to visit several times over the course of the game.
This is it!
This world mostly consists of tournaments that increase in difficulty as you progress. Yeah, what he said. There's the Phil Cup, Pegasus Cup, Hercules Cup, and the Hades Cup. Not only do the tournaments unlock as you progress in the main game, but even if they were all available from the outset, you'd first need to level up a hell of a lot to stand any chance of succeeding. Now, I don't want people thinking I'm being negative about Kingdom Hearts 2 here, but I have a potentially controversial opinion. While the combat in KH2 is a lot more fluid and fun, there are aspects of it that I think the first game does much better. Yes, the combat can feel like a grind, but that's kind of the point. It genuinely feels as though you're gradually getting stronger. In Kingdom Hearts 2, there are additional moves, such as triangle button prompts and special moves referred to as drive forms. On the one hand, they make fighting more interesting. On the other hand, it can make some fights far too easy. The tournaments don't have the same kind of appeal to me. It feels like you coast through many of the rounds, whereas in this game it really feels like you're improving and evolving in real time. By the way, in KH1 Final Mix, they added a triangle button shortcut to the menu to interact with certain objects and activate certain abilities. In the original game, you have to scroll to the bottom of the on-screen menu to do this, so this is a welcome change. However, an advantage that the original has over Final Mix is that you can choose whether to scroll through the menu with the directional buttons or the right analog stick, and the latter is much more comfortable to use while on the move. Meanwhile, in Final Mix, since the right analog stick now controls the camera as opposed to the L2 and R2 buttons, the menu can now only be navigated with the D-pad.
This should help.
Which to me is a major downgrade. Don't get me wrong, the camera in Final Mix is a huge improvement, but navigating the menu with the analog stick is so much easier. Anyway, it turns out Cloud is actually a goodie.
I tried to exploit the power of darkness, but it backfired.
His friends are missing too, and Hades promised to help him.
You might say he's wandering lonely as a cloud.
As the trio head off to a new world, Sora and Donald fight over control of the Gummi Ship, leading to their crash landing in a strange world based on Disney's Tarzan.
Whoa!
Sora finds himself in the treehouse, and is immediately ambushed by Sabore the leopard. Interestingly, I think the sound Sabore makes is exactly the same as Scar and the lionesses from the Lion King PS1 game.
You know, the sound you make when you break a fingernail.
Fortunately, Tarzan steps in and saves us.
Friends, here.
Not sure I understand, but show me.
He joins Sora to look for his friends, and thus opens the next chapter, Deep Jungle. This involves a tree surfing segment, which is actually pretty cool. If you return here later in the game, you can play a mini-game. Collecting all the fruits along the branch opens more paths, although it would be a lot easier without Tarzan smacking all the branches and getting in your way all the time. Tarzan, come on man, I need to see the fruit!
Get your big stick out of my face, you asinine ape!
Eventually the trio are reunited.
Sora! Goofy! Donald!
One thing that I find pretty cool is that you can often exchange a member of your party for a character from the world. This can be done at save points. In this case, we can have Tarzan as a party member. We just need to temporarily sacrifice one of our current party, and it's difficult to choose someone to—
Donald. You're replacing Donald, no question. He can sit this one out. He's good at doing that.
While this is a nice feature, the novelty of having a new team member wears off after a while. One thing I haven't mentioned yet is trinities. These are coloured markers you can find scattered around the world. From the outset, you can only activate the blue trinities with something called Trinity Jump, rewarding you with bonus items and granting you access to new areas. As the game progresses, you can access more trinities with different techniques. The only issue is, you need both Donald and Goofy in your party for this to work, and having to find a save point to exchange party members to activate these is a little annoying. So, while having a new party member is a nice touch, at times it can feel counterproductive. Our next task in Deep Jungle is to find some slides for the projector. This is apparently to help us understand what Tarzan is trying to tell us, although this feels a bit of a stretch to me. I'm not sure how fencing and this voluptuous ape ass will help any. Anyway, I love how interactive the camp is. You can find recipes to make a high potion with the stove, and conduct an experiment using the outdoor lab to make a couple of ethers. Clayton is soon found out to be a traitor as he's caught trying to hunt the gorillas.
A snake slithered by. You see, I saved that poor gorilla's life.
I say caught, although he was never particularly discreet about it. I mean, aside from the fact that his face is the epitome of evil, this guy's about as subtle as a brick.
A circus of clowns. Not much use for hunting gorillas.
Yep, the guy who openly said he was here to hunt the gorillas has been caught hunting the gorillas.
Oh, ironic.
The main Heartless here are power wilds, monkey-like Heartless who are quick to get their attacks in first. As such, I think the best way to eliminate them is by first performing a guard move to temporarily daze them. Throughout this world, you'll also repeatedly come across Sabore. And finally defeating her rewards you with the White Fang accessory, boosting AP, strength and defense. Now, I've seen various sources online claiming that this is perceived to be one of the worst worlds in the game, and I seriously beg to differ. Some seem to cite this world as one of the most confusing. I might be in the minority here, but I really don't think this world is all that confusing. Besides perhaps this part when you need to defeat a bunch of Heartless to save the
Yes, thank you, Brian Blessed.
I'll admit they could have given you more direction here. You have to keep wandering around until more Heartless show up.
Come on!
But otherwise, this world always seemed pretty self-explanatory to me. Although I agree, there is a lot of back and forth travelling between the camp and the treehouse, and I can understand this might get a little tedious.
Man, it's like a jungle out there. Oh yeah, right.
The vine swinging is also a little janky. But it's not the worst thing ever. A little later on, there's also a minigame here, providing an optional time limit and weaker ropes that break after a short time. This is a nice detail, although it kinda makes the clunkiness more obvious. The Heartless pose a significant threat to the gorillas and Jane, as you can tell by her face here. That's a look of despair if ever I saw one. Interestingly, this was something else they changed in Final Mix.
That's better?
It may come as no surprise that Clayton is in cahoots with the Heartless.
No!
Naturally, this leads to a boss fight.
Clayton?
Not Clayton.
In the original game, the cutscenes are unskippable, and although the following fight isn't actually too bad, when playing for the first time, it can really take you by surprise. Having seen it so many times, I have this cutscene pretty much ingrained in my mind now. Here we're faced with a combination of Clayton and a large invisible lizard-like Heartless known as Stealth Sneak. As you hit the Heartless, it reveals itself. The idea of a large powerful Heartless and a rifle-wielding Brian Blessed is pretty daunting. But this boss fight becomes much more manageable when you realise you don't actually have to defeat Stealth Sneak, just Clayton. Shortly after exploring the waterfall caverns, we encounter this cave, wherein Tarzan finally starts making more sense.
Friends, same heart. Clayton, lose heart. No heart, no see friends.
Yeah.
Well, not really. It's all monkey talk to me. He may as well still be speaking gorilla.
Sorry about what I said.
I'm sorry too.
It's here we find the keyhole, which Sora takes it upon himself to seal. At which moment Turk randomly takes a shine to Donald of all characters.
I think someone has a new admirer.
No. Daisy would kill me.
Yeah, don't worry, Donald. I'd be just as horrified if Rosie O'Donnell tried it on with me. I joke, of course. The gorillas here aren't voiced, for obvious reasons. They're gorillas.
Interestingly, Audrey Wazalewski, a voice actress who had played the role of Turk in previous video game adaptations, is credited as voicing Turk here. And this is especially interesting to me considering the only time we ever hear Turk make any noise whatsoever is in this scene. I'm assuming they used archive vocals or something. Imagine being called into the studio just for that.
What was the point?
Anyway, Sora is then rewarded with a new Keyblade.
Now we're really locked and loaded.
In light of this, the Disney villains become fearful that Sora might be a potential threat.
What drew the Heartless to that world?
The hunter lured them there.
I love that these villains are stepping out from the shadows to dramatically reveal themselves, when it was pretty obvious who they were to begin with, as they all have very distinct silhouettes and voices. You really think I didn't know this was Jafar until now?
The boy is a problem. He found one of the keyholes.
Anyway, Maleficent's plan is to open Kingdom Hearts by capturing the 7 Princesses of Heart, one of whom is Alice.
Who's not actually a princess, but just go with it, okay?
Upon sealing the deep jungle keyhole, we receive a navigation gummy. If we then return to Traverse Town, we can use our newly discovered Red Trinity move to access the secret waterway. While here, Aerith advises you to speak to Sid Highwind about the navigation gummy. When we see Sid, he requests that you first take a book to Merlin. Once you do, you can enter the 100-Acre Wood, where Winnie the Pooh is feeling rather hungry.
My tumbly is getting rather rumbly.
The stakes are high.
Pooh's friends have all disappeared, and it's up to you to find the torn pages from the book to revive the wood. Finding a torn page opens a new location in this world, within which you can play minigames and meet Pooh's friends.
Oh dear, I was just never mind. I'm sorry.
If you're a fan of Winnie the Pooh, this world is a pleasant departure from the main game. There's nothing threatening here, no combat, just fun games, although I use the term fun pretty loosely.
I shall hold on to the balloon and fly like a bee up the honey tree, see?
It's nice enough, but some of the controls feel a little awkward to me. One of the earliest games requires you to hit the bees away as Pooh ascends the honey tree, and the platforming feels a little clumsy. It's far from terrible, but I imagine some people will be very glad this world is optional.
It is rather funny what I will do for honey.
One of my favourite stages takes place at Rabbit's house, in which Pooh gets stuck in Rabbit's door, based on the 1966 short film Winnie the Pooh and the Honey Tree.
That's not bad. Not bad at all.
Rabbit suggests using carrot top juice to slim Pooh down, when Tigger arrives.
Hey there, name's Tigger. T-I-double-G-R, that spells Tigger.
And then you need to stop Tigger bouncing on Rabbit's carrots. If you can't reach him quickly enough, you're advised to use the rush command, which makes Sora automatically race towards Tigger. Although I personally find this really awkward to pull off. It rarely works for me. Fortunately, it's not long before we can free Pooh and move on. I'll discuss more of these games a little later on, as you obviously can't complete this world until you've found all the torn pages.
Will Pooh's appetite be sated? Find out in the next chapter. I tell you, it's a real page-turner.
Just one small smackerel would taste very good right now.
On our return from Merlin's, we finally cross paths with Riku.
There you are. What's going on?
Yes, it's a Riku reunion. A Rikunion.
Realizing it's his friend, Sora then promptly attempts to, steal his dentures?
Hey, cut it out.
So you're coming with us, right? We've got this awesome rocket.
I think that's overselling it a smidge. Yeah.
Before long, Riku makes haste, and Maleficent convinces him that Sora has ditched him for his new friends, a dog and a duck.
Now think no more of him and come with me.
You'd think it'd take more convincing, but no!
Sid installs a navigation gummy for us, which basically permits access to new worlds. But before we leave Traverse Town, there's a hidden keyhole here too. Another red trinity lets us access the bell on top of the gizmo shop. And ringing it 3 times reveals the keyhole. However, another giant Heartless gets in our way. At first it appears to be guard armor again, but soon transforms itself so that its armor is the opposite way round. And with a brand new form comes a brand new name. Opposite armor.
Inspired!
This Heartless is tougher than guard armor. But fortunately, so are you. After this Heartless is vanquished, Sora attains the power of wind.
Ugh. Everyone give him a wide berth. Hey, I thought this was Kingdom Hearts, not Kingdom...
Not in front of the kids.
Oh, sorry.
No, of course not. This means you can now cast Aero to temporarily increase defense. We also receive another navigation gummy, but Sid advises you that it's part of a set of 2, and you need them both together for them to work. After sealing the Traverse Town keyhole, we can go to Agrabah, where Jafar is looking for Jasmine.
She's disappeared like magic.
The girl is more trouble than she's worth.
Isn't it funny that the villains all happen to be in their respective worlds whenever we visit?
Agrabah is full of holes for rats to hide in.
Yeah, you know what else has many holes? The plot. Burn.
Jasmine is another one of the 7 Princesses of Heart, and here we face Jafar's army of Heartless, which includes a suspiciously spider-like vase. Later in the game, there are also similar barrel Heartless that explode. At first I didn't consider either of these to be spiders, as they're clearly not arachnids.
However, since Jiminy's journal clearly refers to them as spiders, I rather think I've been overruled here. Go on then, play the clip.
We eventually find the magic carpet, which takes us to the desert, where we need to fend off the Heartless to rescue Aladdin. And there are so many of them, we're essentially sitting ducks. Some of us in the literal sense.
Genie! Get rid of these guys!
Fortunately, Aladdin has the lamp, containing, yes you guessed it, Homer Simpson.
Wish number one coming right up!
I say fortunately, but this guy is actually really irritating.
The one and only Genie of the Lamp! Rub-a-dub-dub the lamp and have your dearest wishes granted.
You know, if I had a genie, I really wouldn't wish for much at all. But I think I'd wish for this guy to shut the f*** up.
With Aladdin in tow, you need to rescue Jasmine from Jafar.
I'm sorry, Al.
He imprisons her in this pot centipede, which is tough as nails. You need to destroy it before it escapes. But interestingly, Jafar winds up abducting Jasmine anyway. Which rather begs the question, what was the bloody point? He's taken her to the Cave of Wonders, but we have trouble getting in.
Is your name on the list?
Oh dear, perhaps you should have booked in advance.
As it turns out, the tiger head is possessed by Heartless. As it unearths hordes of enemies from the sand, you need to deflect its attacks and target its eyes. Inside the cave, there are a lot of Heartless. There's also a bottomless hall that's, well, not actually bottomless.
That's flagrant false advertising! And speaking of flagrant...
These fire-breathing fat guys are particularly annoying, especially in such an enclosed space.
Extremely powerful enemies!
Itty-bitty fighting space.
Interestingly, Aladdin is one of the few alternate party members who are essential to progress. Now and again, you'll need him to get Abu to touch the gems to activate stuff. As such, the lower levels of the cave are interesting to explore, and it's kind of funny to me when the trio swim up the waterfalls. I honestly thought these areas were inaccessible at first. I mean, swimming down the waterfall looks fine, but swimming up just looks plain bizarre. While in the lower level chambers, you need to destroy a pillar, and this opens a passage in the above treasure room, leading to Jafar.
Wait a second, are you Maleficent?
Yeah, I don't blame you, hun. I don't have time for people either. It's nice to have a relatable villain, isn't it?
Jafar, let Jasmine go!
Not a chance. You see, she's a princess. One of 7 who somehow hold the key to opening the door.
Jafar uses the genie against us.
Crush them!
And I'm surprised this is allowed, considering it betrays one of the rules.
I can't kill anybody.
Yeah, so don't ask.
I'll be honest though, the genie is so slow that I genuinely don't know what he actually does to deal damage.
I'm really sorry about this. Run!
More disappointingly, Jafar is one of the most underwhelming Disney bosses. As long as you stay away from the center of the room, you'll avoid the majority of his attacks. The fight eventually escalates as Jafar wishes to be a genie. And it seems as though awesome evil laughs run in the family.
Wow, not a bad evil laugh, Jafar. But I'd still say your sister's got you beat.
Strangely, the fight actually becomes much easier from this point. While Jafar very slowly throws some big rocks at you, you just need to follow Iago and destroy the lamp. Once this is over, we can seal the keyhole. But Jasmine is missing.
Jasmine? Jasmine!
There's a really awkward magic carpet flight here, as we need to escape the collapsing cave. You can use the Keyblade to destroy the debris before it hits you, but it doesn't feel like you have much control. The carpet flight in Kingdom Hearts 2 is so much better than this, but fortunately this section doesn't last long.
Hello, you still have one wish left?
Back at Aladdin's house, he uses his last wish to free the genie.
I can't say I blame him, he's irritating as hell.
After this, we're able to summon the genie to help us in battle. Yep, he decided to join me. Lucky me.
That's it, get the f*** back in that lamp.
I neglected to mention this earlier, but summons are a cool feature. Now and again, you'll find summon gems. If you take a summon gem to the fairy godmother at Merlin's house, she'll bibbidi-bobbidi-boo you a new character you can summon to assist you in battle for a limited amount of time. Summons require MP, and all members of your party need to be present for them to work. Most summons you find in the game are really powerful, although there are a couple that don't feel worth it to me.
Gotcha!
Late in the game, you can unlock Mushu.
I am Mushu!
While it's nice to see him, his attacks really aren't that impactful.
See ya! See ya!
He's a pretty lackluster lizard.
Dragon, not lizard. I don't do that tongue thing.
By this stage, we unlock the Green Trinity, referred to as Trinity Ladder, which sees Sora, Donald and Goofy stack on top of each other to retrieve high-up items. With this new ability, we can lower the ladder in the accessory shop to gain access to the item workshop. This is where the Moogles introduce us to synthesis, a process where you can create useful items using materials you've picked up on your travels. Enemies often drop these materials, and you can equip certain abilities you've learned to increase the likelihood of rarer items being dropped. Some items are tricky to find, but it becomes much easier when you figure out what enemies drop what materials. Meanwhile, the villains have a surprise in store for Riku.
Hurry! Go to her. Your vessel is waiting.
It's at this point that this previously shrouded figure reveals himself to be Captain Hook.
Who knew? Oh, well, just about everybody, I imagine. I mean, he may have been skulking in the shadows, but the hook itself was a bit of a giveaway.
Just remember, this is no pleasure cruise. It won't be a pleasant voyage.
You say that, but I'd wager the voyage will be far more appealing than my slow-ass Gummi Ship.
Speaking of the Gummi Ship, we're eventually swallowed by Monstro the Whale, where we come across Geppetto and his wooden puppet Pinocchio, who winds up wandering off, and we need to look for him.
Pinocchio! Don't worry, Geppetto, we'll keep a nose out. I don't expect a reward either. No strings attached.
What are you doing? Come on, let's go back.
This is actually a major turning point in the game's narrative, as Riku attempts to abduct Pinocchio, as he needs his heart to save a certain someone who's lost theirs.
Are you talking about Kairi?
The idea here is to search the many chambers of Monstro for Pinocchio, and trust me, it gets very confusing. This eventually leads to a boss fight in the whale's bowels, in which Sora and Riku join forces against a giant Heartless that imprisons Pinocchio. Once this is over, we jump down a hole leading back to the mouth.
Wait, from the bowels? I have questions about the anatomy of this whale.
Now, I'll tell you, that doesn't make a lick of sense.
I know.
Riku's true intentions then come to light.
Please, give me back my son.
Sorry, old man. I have some unfinished business with this puppet.
Ugh. Do you want to maybe rephrase that?
By this point, we unlock the high jump ability, the first of several shared abilities for the whole party, and this is so much more satisfying than the standard jump. It also means we can access more of Monstro, and climb our way to the stomach.
Pinocchio! Pinocchio!
Jiminy, I'm not gonna make it. Oh! I guess I'm okay!
Wait, no, that's not how it works. He wasn't lying just now. He genuinely believed he wasn't going to make it. Anyway, as Riku departs, Sora, Donald and Goofy are left to face the Heartless.
Fire!
As you can tell, Riku is not acting like himself.
You might say someone is, pulling the strings.
That someone is Maleficent, who grants him the ability to control the Heartless, with the promise that he'll be able to restore Kairi's heart if all 7 princesses are used to open Kingdom Hearts, the heart of all worlds.
Soon, Kairi. Soon.
Yeah, there's a lot of, heart jargon in this game. I hope you're still following.
Oh, did you get that?
No.
Oh. If the characters in the game can't follow the story, how are we supposed to?
Shortly after this, if we speak to Merlin, he gives us the Spellbinder Keyblade, which is interesting as although it's physically weak, it's the first Keyblade to give Sora an MP boost, also serving to extend the time in which you can use summons. So this is the interesting thing about the Keyblades. Generally speaking, they improve in stats as you progress. But it's not as simple as replacing your Keyblade with every new one you find. Every Keyblade has its own pros and cons. Some emphasize physical strength, while others emphasize magic and summon power. At this stage, we also unlock the Pegasus Cup at the Coliseum, and most of this is largely pretty straightforward.
Nope, still no idea.
If there's one thing I have to question with the combat, it's the targeting. Now, to be clear, it's far from terrible, and for the most part works very well. But at the beginning of the game, they tell you that Sora will generally automatically aim for the nearest enemy. But I would actually dispute this. I'm not sure if it's just me, but sometimes he seems to target an enemy that's nowhere near him, even when there's a much greater threat close by, and you have to cycle through a bunch of enemies until he focuses on the one you want. Like I say, this isn't a major issue or anything, it's just odd to me that sometimes the game doesn't seem to recognise an obvious impending threat.
I just know there are people out there who will hate me for complaining here, but hey, this is the Coliseum, and I calls them like I sees them.
In any case, the battles here are nothing too taxing. That is until you make it to the final fight against Leon and Yuffie. Leon isn't too bad, but Yuffie is quite frankly a pain in the posterior.
Yuffie is indeed a toughie.
It's over!
She constantly hurls things at you, and although it's easy enough to deflect most of them, once you deplete so much of her health, she'll cure herself. You bitch! Frustrating just doesn't cover it. And imagine my sheer rage when I beat her and almost beat Leon too, only for him to knock me out at the very last second.
Damn you both to hell! I'm not giving up though. Why? Because I'm not a Sora loser.
No way. I can lose.
Before long, we arrive in an underwater world. Donald casts a spell that turns us into some weird sea creature hybrids. Donald becomes part octopus, while Goofy is a sea turtle.
What the? Is this really happening? Or is that Wonderland funny juice starting to kick in?
Come on, Sebastian.
Ariel, wait! Slow down! Don't leave me behind!
As soon as we arrive, we discover Ariel has encountered Heartless, and it's up to us to save her neck.
Her unusually long neck.
This, of course, kicks off the Atlantica World, and it's soon revealed that the Heartless are coming from Ursula's lair.
I knew it! That sea witch is up to no good again!
As in the movie, King Triton is a stubborn old thing. He doesn't like Ariel's infatuation with the human world, and gets weirdly defensive when Goofy mentions the keyhole.
There's no such thing, certainly not here!
Now, the gameplay here is obviously a little different. As it's the underwater level, this world has often come under scrutiny for being one of the worst the game has to offer. But you know what? I actually don't mind this world, even if the music does grate on you after the first 5 minutes. Seriously, I like the song Under the Sea as much as most other people, but having to hear the instrumental on a continuous loop is enough to drive you absolutely insane.
Still, the music here is a huge improvement on the last time we visited Atlantica. Yeah, I won't be complaining about the music anymore.
Jumping jellyfish! That was good!
The combat isn't particularly difficult at all, but since you use the circle and square buttons to swim higher and lower, you cannot perform a guard move with the square button as usual. It's not a huge problem, but it does make it feel as though you're helplessly swinging the key around in a vain attempt to hit something. But the combat itself isn't horrible, and Ariel is surprisingly tough for a mermaid.
I see she's putting her power drill power to good use.
The bigger issue I have with the combat here is that it's extremely repetitive. I'm not sure if it's just me, but wow, the Heartless are relentless, and this is especially annoying for the following reason. You see, when enemies are around and the on-screen menu turns red, you cannot interact with anything else in the environment, meaning you won't be able to open any nearby treasure chests until all enemies have been taken care of. Here there's a part where you need to grab onto a dolphin in order to swim against the current, but you cannot grab hold if there are enemies around. This isn't too bad the first time, but it quickly becomes frustrating as hell. Another issue I have with this world is its lack of direction. Honestly, I really don't understand the hatred for Deep Jungle when, for me personally, this world is far more confusing.
You are not to leave the palace. Is that clear?
As the story progresses, you'll see cutscenes that just kind of end, with few hints of where to go next. You spend most of this world swimming around aimlessly, and it doesn't help that many of the locations look really similar. Around the sunken ship, we find a crystal trident that just happens to fit snugly in this emblem in Ariel's grotto.
Ariel, you've disobeyed me again.
We don't get to find out what it does though, as Triton is hot on our fishtails, and promptly destroys it.
Daddy, no!
Young man, you're not from another ocean. You're from another world, aren't you?
Huh?
Then you must be the key bearer.
How did you know?
I don't know. Maybe it was the humongous key you've been carrying around. Just a hunch.
Eventually, Ariel is approached by Flotsam and Jetsam.
My. The poor child suffers such deep sorrow.
They introduce her to Ursula, who promises her these new worlds she yearns for if she helps her obtain Triton's trident, and she's surprisingly easily swayed.
Why, we have company. I'm afraid you're a little late, handsome.
This eventually leads us to Ursula's lair, and the first fight here is pretty interesting in my opinion. As Ursula uses her magic cauldron against you, it changes different colours, indicating what magic spells it's vulnerable to. You simply have to use the corresponding magic against it to daze her. Not long after this, we earn a new ability, the Mermaid Kick. By tapping circle or square repeatedly, you can swim faster. This is good, although sometimes I find that the game can get confused whether you want to alter your elevation or speed up. It's the age-old "why did they use the same button for several things" complaint, but this is admittedly a little nitpicky, as it's not really a huge issue. With the Mermaid Kick, we can swim against the current to a previously out-of-reach location.
You pathetic fool!
Leading us to another boss fight against a massive Ursula and her wonky eyes.
Ah, she's looking right at me! I think.
This won't be pretty!
I don't mind this fight, but it's a little tedious. Ursula's attacks are very repetitive.
Very tasty.
I wouldn't say it's really difficult, but it seems to drag on for a while. Still, she poses more of a threat than Jafar ever did. Luckily though, it's not long before we're rid of the testicular terror.
Sorry, that's tentacular terror. My bad.
After returning the trident to Triton, we discover that the reason he destroyed the crystal was because it revealed the keyhole. I actually don't understand Triton in this instance. I appreciate he's suspicious of anything from outside this world, and that the keyhole is dangerous. But if he knew Sora was the key bearer, why would he deny him access to the keyhole, knowing full well he's the only one who can seal it? You know, to save Atlantica? Anyway, fortunately, Triton's trident is also capable of revealing the keyhole.
It sure is lucky the old merman knows magic too. Now if only he could magic something up to cover those enormous nipples. Seriously, it's cold down here. You'll have someone's eye out.
After this, we reach Halloween Town. Now, I'm not sure if this is because I'm already accustomed to seeing The Nightmare Before Christmas in a video game, but I feel like I'm in the minority for not really caring too much about this world. That's not to say it's bad at all, the designs of the outfits are cool, and Halloween Town looks great. I think maybe I've just gotten so used to Oogie's Revenge that this felt a bit of a retread for me, although I'm fully aware that this game came first.
I want to strike bone-chilling terror. I'm going to consult the doctor.
Anyway, in this world, the Heartless have arrived, and Jack Skellington wants them to dance with him for Halloween.
Why, of course. The Heartless need a heart.
But they need a heart. In order to make a heart, you need to find some ingredients.
Let's try adding memory.
First you need memory, represented by Sally's forget-me-not.
Memory? You mean this?
And then you need surprise, which you can obtain from the mare. Meanwhile, Oogie hears of Jack's plan to create a heart for the Heartless, and intends to steal it for himself.
But I'm still gonna nab that heart and control the Heartless.
Once the heart is finished, Lock, Shock and Barrel make off with it. And we follow them to Oogie's Manor, where we encounter an array of Halloween Heartless.
I guess home is where the Heartless is.
This world has some of the most irritating enemies. The White Knights are especially annoying. They leap in the air and then claw at you. They're pretty slow, but deal a lot of damage. The most interesting parts of this world take place around Oogie's Manor, where we catch up to the three brats and beat the living shit out of them. Immediately afterwards, the kids apologise, but Shock adds an oddly cryptic statement: "You'll never find the green door." So anyway, we then find the green door.
Really, should have been better off not even mentioning the green door. It's almost like they want me to win.
You want it? Well then come on over and get it! Ah!
and this leads to a boss battle with Oogie on the roulette wheel. After avoiding the hazards and Heartless, some buttons light up, and you need to step on the one nearest to Oogie in order to trap him and beat the bugs out of him. I think my main issue with this world is that it feels a little rushed in parts. This fight is inspired, but once he's defeated, the final part sees Oogie become as big as a house.
I mean, he basically is a house.
Yes, Oogie seems to become his own mana here, meaning you have to scale him and take out the orbs of darkness that are attached to him. On paper, this sounds epic, but it's actually pretty underwhelming. Oogie just kind of stands there immobile. It feels less like a boss fight and more like you're demolishing a house. Which you pretty much are, I guess.
Oogie Boogie, I condemn you to, well, be condemned.
Once it's all over, the mana, and Oogie Boogie for that matter, is destroyed, revealing the keyhole beneath it.
Well, that's one way to bring down the house.
The mana's destruction relates to one of my grievances with the original game, as one of the trinities can be found here. If you miss it, tough luck. After the mana is destroyed, you'll be unable to find all the trinities. On my first playthrough, I had Jack Skellington in my party to liven things up.
Come on, let's go!
Which I guess is ironic since he's dead.
As such, I overlooked the trinity, thinking I'd be able to activate it later. Considering how easy this is to miss, I imagine many other players had a bone to pick.
No offense, Jack.
The final mix version moved the trinity to another location, making it accessible on return visits, which should have been the case in the first place.
I don't like it. Not at all.
We then wind up in the Neverland World, based on Peter Pan. So yeah, I guess I'm covering another Peter Pan game.
Yahoo!
A good one this time.
While on deck, we cross paths with Riku, who has Kairi.
The Heartless obey me now, Sora. Now I have nothing to fear.
Ooh, what do you say to that then, Sora?
You're stupid!
Oh, okay, well, not the best comeback there. You're about as sharp with comebacks as Simba was.
Mufasa was so easily beaten. Like father, like son.
My father was a great king.
Snap.
Riku then unveils a Heartless that resembles Sora. And I've always thought this to be intentionally reminiscent of Peter's shadow. In the hold, we of course meet Peter Pan.
I'm the answer to your prayers.
And he begrudgingly agrees to join forces with you.
I'm Sora.
Okay, we're in this together, but only till we find Wendy.
You see, Hook has kidnapped Wendy, mistaking her for one of the 7 princesses, and Riku is determined to find Kairi's heart.
I will find it, no matter what.
While exploring the inside of the ship, Peter sprinkles a trio with pixie dust to try to make them fly, but it doesn't seem to work.
Hold on a minute, you're a duck. Shouldn't you be able to fly anyway?
I wonder if that silly duck will remember that he can fly.
Wendy?
Yes?
Is there another girl in there with you?
Oh, why, yes. But she seems to be asleep. She hasn't budged an inch.
Using a green trinity, we can access the cabin, containing a fight with the shadowy Sora, and this can be a challenge. It's a smart fight, as your opponent creates 2 decoys to trick you. Meanwhile, Riku has made off with Kairi.
Where did he go?
To the ruins of Hollow Bastion.
Where Maleficent resides.
Hook makes Sora walk the plank, and not only that, he's managed to get his hands on Tinkerbell.
Just the one hand, I guess.
It's at this point that the pixie dust finally kicks in. Well, that's lucky. Imagine if that was how the game ended.
Oh.
Goodbye.
Luckily, Peter Pan also returns to help us defeat the Heartless.
You didn't think I'd leave you and Tink behind, did you?
Well, actually, yeah. You cut off a guy's hand and fed it to a crocodile. You're notoriously a bit of a twat.
Is that you, Smee?
Did you finish them off?
Aye, Captain.
Hook hides from the crocodile, but Peter soon lures him back out by pretending to be Smee.
Peter Pan!
You might say he fell for that hook, line, and sinker.
The ensuing fight is, kinda strange actually. Hook is surprisingly powerful with his sword and bombs. But in addition to that, he can also jump insanely high, most often to his own detriment as he has a tendency to repeatedly fall overboard.
I rather think he will if you keep jumping in the water!
Eventually, Hook is defeated.
Go on, sling your hook, and make it snappy.
And we learn a new ability. Arse. This is a cool move that allows you to use MP to automatically perform a powerful combo. With everything ship-shape here, Tinkerbell then takes us to the clock tower. If you notice, one of the 4 faces of Big Ben shows the incorrect time. Hitting the minute hand until it lands on midnight will make the keyhole appear. Upon sealing it, we're also rewarded with the second navigation gummy.
Are you really going back to Neverland?
This ending to the world is kinda bittersweet, as Wendy remains in London. Before we leave though, Peter has one last gift for Sora, as Tinkerbell can now be used as a summon.
Look after her for me, will ya?
So yeah, as you can see, the name of this world is a little misleading. It consists of Captain Hook's ship and Big Ben, neither of which is Neverland.
It's kind of ironic that the world is called Neverland, considering we never actually land there.
Neverland is also supposed to be 2 words, never land. I think it's strange they never amended this for the Final Mix remaster. For the Kingdom Hearts 2 Final Mix, they changed Pride Land to Pride Lands, so why not? Interestingly too, in the prequel game Birth by Sleep, Neverland is spelled correctly. But these issues aside, Neverland doesn't feel like a full-blown world to me.
Come on!
Captain Hook's ship just feels like a plot device to transition us to the latter stages of the game. But that's not to say it's bad. I actually really like these parts. I've always liked Captain Hook as a villain, and this is no exception. They did him justice here, as opposed to whatever the hell this was. Anyway, look at the time. I think we'd better leave. I guess we'll just leave Wendy here?
Oh, okay. Well, good luck getting down from there, I guess.
By the way, while Sora can fly in this world, he can now perform a glide ability in other worlds, meaning that if you hold the circle button while in the air, you can glide. Towards the end of the game, you also unlock the Super Glide. If you hold the square button instead, it allows Sora to glide much faster, which is really cool.
You know, I've been thinking, was Hook's name still Hook before he got his hook? Because that's a huge coincidence.
Now we need to head back to Traverse Town and speak to Sid, but first the Hercules Cup is unlocked.
Come on!
Obviously, depending on how much you've leveled up by the time you attempt these tournaments, how easy you'll find them is subjective, but honestly, I didn't find this cup to be nearly as aggravating as the Leon and Yuffie fight.
Take that!
A lot of the enemies here are Neverland and Halloween Town Heartless. There's one round against Cloud, but hey, we beat him a while ago, so this isn't too much trouble. The final round is a one-on-one against Hercules himself, and this is ironically a very weak fight.
Try this on for size.
In order to break his shield, you need to throw a barrel at him. And that's kind of it. After that, he's extremely easy to beat.
Godlike strength, my ass.
It's actually one of the most tedious fights in the game, as he keeps performing the same few moves over and over again.
I didn't even hold back!
Really? You sure about that?
Once we have the Hercules Cup, we unlock the Yellow Trinity, allowing us to push certain heavy objects, including that pedestal from earlier, which appropriately reveals the Coliseum Keyhole. Now, where were we? Oh yes, we need to head back to Traverse Town. Speaking of which, by this point you'll have had the chance to find all the torn pages, so now seems like a good time to talk about the 100 Acre Wood again. I like this world more so for the aesthetic than the gameplay. The attention to detail is admirable. If you return to Pooh's house at some point, you can see Pooh doing his exercises, which is so damn cute. Meanwhile, the minigames themselves are very hit and miss, but it's a cute departure from the relentless combat. There's a game in which you need to push Pooh on a swing to find Eeyore's tail, and there's a rather dull bouncing game in which you simply need to copy Tigger's bounce pattern. If you get it wrong, you have to start over. Oh, stuff and fluff. I don't really think the games are awful, as it's clear they were designed to be laid back and casual. But they do feel a bit lackluster. I'd say the worst of the games is the last one, in which you need to gather all of Pooh's friends. You need to get Pooh to follow you around by locking onto him, and he moves so slowly.
Oh, honey.
You're encouraged to try to beat your best time here, but honestly, completing this just the one time is more than enough.
I'm so glad we're all together again.
Once everyone is found, Sora departs.
I'm gonna go look for my friends. They're waiting for me.
And you know, despite the minigames being a little clunky, it actually feels legitimately bittersweet to be leaving. The final cutscene here is weirdly emotional. I actually choked up a bit.
Sora, don't forget, we shall always be here.
With Sora's departure, the book is fully restored and the keyhole sealed.
And that closes the book on that chapter.
The trio then waits for Sid to fit the navigation gummy on their Gummi Ship. While he's gone, Sora experiences a memory of Kairi's, in which her grandmother affirms that a door to the innermost darkness will open, and true light will return.
Kairi? Did you call me?
With the Gummi Ship ready to go, we eventually arrive at Hollow Bastion, where we find Beast looking for Belle.
I will have her back!
Another one of the 7 princesses stolen from her world.
Let the Keyblade choose. Its true master.
Riku then takes the Keyblade, prompting Donald and Goofy to follow him.
Well, I know the king told us to follow the key and all, but...
At this stage, Sora is evidently much weaker, but luckily Beast is on your side, and he's, well, a beast. He's supremely powerful and can also be used to open new areas by destroying walls. This eventually builds to a fight with Riku, and Beast is conveniently distracted. Goofy listens to his conscience and sides with Sora prior to the fight.
You'd betray your king?
Not on your life. But I'm not gonna betray Sora either, cause he's become one of my best buddies after all we've been through together.
And when I say conscience, I don't mean Jiminy Cricket. Hey, this actually raises a good point. Where did Jiminy get to after the trio separated? Did he stay with Sora or with Donald and Goofy? It's never mentioned.
Hold on, Goofy!
Naturally, Donald also switches sides.
I'm for one and right for all!
Well, you've changed your tune, you flip-flopper.
Despite lacking a good physical weapon, Sora finally realizes his greatest weapon is his heart, and that it's grown with all the experiences and friends he's made along the way.
My friends are my power.
Huh. That fair-weather feathered fowl ain't no friend of mine.
And with that, the Keyblade returns to us. The play fight on the beach at the beginning should have prepared you for what's to come. Riku is light-footed and packs a punch. After this brief altercation, the fallible furry returns.
So, your heart won this battle.
Yeah, no thanks to you. Where have you been?
In all honesty, Beast is a valuable asset to your team. Except when it comes to Trinities, of course. Man, switching back to Donald feels like such a major downgrade. It's also kind of annoying that Beast is so large, as he sometimes blocks your view. All is forgiven, Goofy. It genuinely feels like my vision has been shrouded by a big purple curtain. As for Hollow Bastion, this place is huge. There's a great deal to explore, and the new Heartless are some of the strongest yet. Well, most of them. There are some weaker ones, like the Dark Balls.
Named such because they're dark. And they're balls, obviously.
Meanwhile, the Defenders deal a great deal of damage with their shields. And don't get me started on the Wizards. They repeatedly perform an annoying disappearing act, prolonging the fight. And whenever they perform this lightning move, they're invulnerable. But hey, as this is Maleficent's lair, we should expect this place to be a challenge. The sheer grandeur of this place is really something to behold. Guys, could you step aside for a sec? I need some space.
Guys, I'm trying to have a look around. Jeez.
The library here is one of the most memorable locations. If you remember, this is where Kairi's memory took place. Here you need to rearrange the books to open secret passages. It's a cool puzzle that really adds to the mystique of the place. One drawback of Hollow Bastion is the lift stop. There are many elevators here, and they travel vertically and horizontally, more like a ski lift than an elevator in my opinion. And some of these lifts take a while to get to places. There's a switch somewhere in the castle that changes the route of the lift from the library. Once you've exhausted all the collectibles in both places, there's no reason to return to this lift again. However, I accidentally accessed this lift more often than I needed to, and having to watch them travel back and forth on an extremely slow ski lift over and over is really tedious. Granted, this is largely my fault. With the princesses captured, the ultimate keyhole to the darkness waits to be unlocked.
Impossible!
The princesses of Heart are all here. It must be her.
The problem is that Kairi's heart is still missing. Sora, Donald and Goofy make it to the castle chapel, which is where we encounter Maleficent.
You think you can defeat me? Me, the mistress of all evil!
This boss fight is easily manageable. You just need to avoid the Heartless and her powerful attacks as you destroy her floating platform. Then you can wail on her to your heart's content. Honestly, I love what they did with Maleficent in this game. As the Mistress of Evil, having her be the ringleader of the Disney villains is a nice touch. One big reason I've never been the biggest fan of Sleeping Beauty is because of Maleficent's weak motivation. She literally curses a child to die just because she wasn't invited to a party.
I really felt quite distressed at not receiving an invitation.
No, really, that is basically her motivation. It's kind of implied there's more to it than that, but the movie never delves deeper into her character.
She's the mistress of pettiness, with a bizarre penchant for spinning wheels.
She shall prick her finger on the spindle of a spinning wheel and die.
Okay, but why? Couldn't you just kill her? This movie has so many loose threads.
With Maleficent incapacitated, Riku reveals he has a Keyblade capable of unlocking people's hearts, born from the power of the 6 captured princesses' hearts.
Behold!
He uses it to open Maleficent's heart, revealing the ultimate darkness inside.
The true darkness!
And this causes her to assume the form of a dragon, as she does in Sleeping Beauty. And this is one of the most chaotic fights for me. As Maleficent merely moves, her feet cause tremors that deal a lot of damage. I was honestly extremely grateful for Tinkerbell's help here. She constantly tops up your health and comes to your aid if you're getting desperate. She's honestly one of my favourite summons in the game. Another favourite summon of mine is, believe it or not, Bambi. He'll prance around the battle arena distributing MP and special items.
He's honestly fantastic. You might say I'm fawning over him.
Anyway, with Maleficent vanquished, a secret passage appears, leading to the Grand Hall, where the princesses are being held. As well as Alice, Jasmine and Belle, there's also Cinderella, Aurora and Snow White.
Kairi!
This leads to the most memorable encounter with Riku in the game. Here we find he's actually possessed by the Heartless.
It is I, Ansem, the Seeker of Darkness.
He reveals Kairi is in fact the 7th Princess of Heart.
Kairi's a princess?
Yes, that's what I said. Pay attention, man.
And they need her heart to open the final keyhole to Kingdom Hearts. The most surprising twist being that Sora himself is in possession of her heart.
Kairi's inside me?
You see, the Heartless never actually took Kairi's heart. When Destiny Islands was destroyed, Kairi's heart essentially took refuge in Sora for protection. And with Kairi's heart inside him, this culminates in the most impressive Riku fight yet. I'll be honest, I was apprehensive about recording this part of the game. Many years ago when I first played this, I recall screwing this up so much that I saw this cutscene an insane amount of times.
Kairi's inside me? Kairi's inside me? Kairi's inside me?
Yes, Kairi's inside you, we know. Look, I've only got so much recording space, and I don't want half of it to be this cutscene on a loop.
Behold the power of darkness.
In all honesty, this boss fight wasn't nearly as difficult as I remembered, possibly because I knew what to expect.
It's over.
And I didn't actually fail this once. It's challenging, and on first playthrough, there are a few surprises. Riku is extremely agile and you don't get much breathing space, but it is a fair fight. The only complaint I have is, as usual, the camera.
Here it comes.
It obviously helps to see what Riku is doing, but he can often disappear off screen. After this, Sora uses Riku's Keyblade on himself to free the princess's hearts. Kairi is revived, but as a result, Sora becomes a Heartless himself, which is interesting as you get to see the world from the perspective of the enemy. I love it when they do this kind of thing. In a way, it reminded me of the ending to Shadow of the Colossus, in which you get a brief taste of just how restrictive it is to be a Colossus. Eventually, you're reunited with your friends, who initially don't recognize you. Luckily, Donald is just as useless in combat as ever.
Sora? Is that you?
As a Princess of Heart, Kairi manages to somehow return Sora to his original form. With Kairi rescued, Sora resolves to head back to Hollow Bastion to seal the keyhole, but Sid warns that the Heartless are swarming the place, advising you to take another route. This requires a new navigation gummy that we can find in the secret waterway. Well, here we meet Kairi again, and she wants to come too, but Sora refuses.
Why not? Because it's way too dangerous.
Instead, she hands him a lucky charm, and makes him promise to return it to her.
Don't worry, I will.
Spoiler alert, he actually doesn't. So yeah, Sora's a liar.
Returning to Hollow Bastion is strange to me. The save points you found previously can no longer be accessed from the map. You need to essentially rediscover them all, which is a little annoying, but it does mean we get to level up. You'll notice that Final Mix includes some extra combat moves. I don't think they're particularly necessary additions, but they're cool nonetheless. We then venture to the dark depths to find the keyhole, where we face a gigantic Heartless known as Behemoth. Despite its impressive appearance, this guy isn't too hard to beat, just rather boring. His horn is the only part of him that receives damage, and I think the idea is to use gravity on him to get him to bow his head. However, I personally think the best way to take him out is by simply jumping onto him and hitting the horn repeatedly. It's boring, but it does the job. Once this is over, we can seal the keyhole. But the princesses sense danger far away, as it seems Ansem has made his escape. By the way, by this point you should have access to all of the Dalmatian puppies, and even here the detail is incredible. The house gradually fills with Dalmatian puppies.
Wow, I'm seeing spots!
You can even see Lucky eagerly watching the TV as in the movie, and there's another cute detail in that one of the puppies follows you around the room. It's so adorable. If you manage to find them all, Pongo and Perdita reward you with the Aeroga spell upgrade. And the entire Gummy collection.
Oh, goody goody gummy gumdrops.
Also at this point, a lot of other stuff is open to us, but it's advisable to level up first. For now, I'll get the main story over with. After a pretty chaotic Gummi Ship ride, we arrive at the end of the world, consisting of fragments of worlds consumed by the Heartless.
Those worlds will be restored if we beat Ansem, right?
You betcha!
And here there's a lot of fighting. In my opinion, the worst enemies are the Angel Stars. They are extremely tough and fire powerful projectiles at Sora. They also have a tendency to defend themselves when you attack them, which is extremely irritating. The invisible Heartless are also formidable. These guys will wedge their swords into the ground and temporarily disappear, making themselves immune while cursed purple flames circle you and try to take you out. Oh, and then there's another big surprise in store.
What, again? You've got to be kidding me!
As you delve into the darkness, you encounter realms mirroring the worlds you've already visited. Now, on the one hand, this can feel a little drawn out, but it does reinforce the notion that you've been on a long journey. Indeed, getting to the end feels like a devil of a job.
And, speaking of the devil...
Soon we're faced with none other than Chernabog, first seen in Disney's Fantasia, and he is gigantic. Here you need to fly around and avoid his attacks, which is easier said than done. Whatever you do, do not go near him when he inflicts this powerful flame attack, or there'll be hell to pay. While this is far from my favourite fight, I love the hierarchy of Disney villains in this game, and this rounds them off perfectly. He's hell to beat, but hey, this late in the game, you should expect him to be.
He is quite literally the devil himself.
After one final onslaught of Heartless, we reach the final rest. The last moment of respite before the big finale.
Is this my island?
Here we find ourselves in the ruins of Destiny Islands, where we come face to face with Ansem.
Riku!
Don't bother. Your voice can no longer reach him where he is.
In Final Mix, it seems Ansem has had a major glow up. He looks much more detailed here.
He's the same Ansem, just, Well, more Ansem.
Ansem professes that darkness is the heart's true essence, but Sora argues that that's not the case.
Deep down, there's a light that never goes out.
So you have come this far, and still you understand nothing.
Hey, I'm sorry, okay? All this heart jargon is really hard to follow.
Every light must fade. Every heart return to darkness.
Now, the first fight isn't actually that bad. But eventually the trio are separated and you need to do battle by yourself. There's another part in between in which you need to face this giant dude again, but honestly I've always thought this is an unnecessary addition, as it just prolongs the fight. When Ansem returns though, things get interesting.
What do you hope for?
The worst part is when Ansem says, "Submit!" If you don't move out of the way quickly enough, the giant Heartless will basically latch onto Sora, and the only way to stop him inflicting damage is by selecting the freeze option when it appears in the menu. The problem here is that the freeze option keeps disappearing intermittently, and is replaced with the standard attack option, meaning you can easily wind up swinging your Keyblade at thin air instead. Now and again, Ansem will also spring this move on you. Take this! For a very long time, I assumed you had to dodge roll out of the way, but it became so much easier when I realised you can actually block this move. The next part of the fight sees Ansem remove his shirt.
Oh. Well, hello, Ansem!
And in my opinion, this is the absolute worst part, as Ansem is surrounded by these floating lasers that are really awkward to avoid. I'm not sure if it's just me, but I have major issues with figuring out exactly where they are in relation to me. After a while, they become pretty much constant, and I resort to chaotically spanking Ansem like the
bad boy he is.
Sorry, I got a bit carried away there.
Then we need to fight in pitch black darkness to free Goofy. And this is followed by a part where you need to fight this hideous thing. I'm not sure if it's just me, but it kind of looks like a giant version of the chest-bursting alien. After this thing is dealt with, we have to battle through more darkness to rescue Donald.
Do we have to? Really?
And then finally, the three of us need to defeat Ansem himself. In the end, Ansem is proven wrong that Kingdom Hearts is pure darkness.
Kingdom Hearts is light!
Sora and friends then try to seal the door to darkness, housing the heart of all worlds and containing hordes of Heartless.
Don't give up! Come on, Sora! Together we can do it!
Riku also decides to help them from behind the door, but it's not until King Mickey appears wielding his own Keyblade that they manage to seal it.
Donald? Goofy? Thank you.
As the destroyed worlds are then reconstructed, Sora and Kairi are once again separated.
I'll come back to you! I promise!
With Kairi remaining on Destiny Islands, restored to its former state. This is actually where the game concludes, and in a post-credits sequence, Sora, Donald and Goofy come across Pluto.
Gosh, that's the King's seal!
Hey, have you seen King Mickey?
And they follow him down a path, which actually looks to be the only path around. The story continues in the next game. No, not Kingdom Hearts 2, but Kingdom Hearts Chain of Memories. Yes, Kingdom Hearts 2 is not the second Kingdom Hearts game.
Confused? Well, trust me, things get a hell of a lot more confusing. But we're not quite done with this game just yet. What about the extra things I mentioned?
Before heading to the end of the game, you can attempt the Hades Cup. This is the toughest tournament yet, and it's advisable to come back later, as you'll no doubt be underleveled when you first unlock it. There are 50 seeds to beat here, including some of the toughest Heartless in the game. And... oh.
What? Not one of these again?
This is basically the ultimate cup, including fights with Cloud and Leon, and even Hades himself.
Hey, guess what? I got a place for you down under!
To my surprise, he isn't first seed, meaning he kinda takes you by surprise when he appears. The best way to beat him is by deflecting his fireballs to daze him.
That's it.
I also find Blizzaga seems to cause damage. His worst attack is when he says, Hades will then spin around with his flames basically covering the entire arena. If you're lucky, you might just be out of reach. Otherwise, the dodge roll comes in very handy here.
Hey, having fun yet?
Anyway, with Hades extinguished, you still have 9 more rounds to beat.
Oh, for Daisy! I just got it!
This really does make you wonder just who the hell could be at the number 1 spot, and it's not long before we find out. Yes, the toughest of the bunch is the Rock Titan, but fortunately he's pretty slow. As long as you avoid his attacks, this battle is pretty easy. You just need to knock him to the ground, and then you basically have the advantage. If you're not careful though, he can cause a ton of damage, as he's solid as
Well, a rock! Yeah, I probably should have expected that.
After this, you unlock the Gold match, in which you're faced with the Ice Titan. Now, this is much tougher than the Rock Titan, but as long as you keep on your toes, he's fairly simple to beat. There are a lot of obstacles here. The Titan will repeatedly hurl icicles at you that you need to deflect back at him. Occasionally, this causes him to falter, allowing you to take out more of his health. The fight gets tougher as it progresses though. The falling giant snowballs become pretty much constant.
But it's manageable as long as you, keep your cool.
Interestingly, in the original game, there is no reward for beating the Ice Titan. But in Final Mix, they reward you with an extra Keyblade, Diamond Dust, which majorly boosts your MP. Now, we're not quite done with discussing the Coliseum, but I first want to talk about some of the other secret boss fights in the game. Some powerful Heartless emerge in the latter stages, and what I like about these is that they also require specific skills to defeat them, rather than basic hack and slash. First of all, there's Kurt Ziza in Agrabah. He fights you in the desert and begins by prohibiting your use of magic, harnessing it in 2 orbs that you need to destroy. Once you've destroyed the orbs and given him a jolly good thrashing, he'll secure himself in a magic bubble. The good thing is that whenever you hit the bubble, it spills a lot of MP. The downside is that the bubble he's in seems to only be affected by magic spells, and it takes a while to destroy. The boss repeats like this over and over until you beat him, first stealing your magic and then floating around in the bubble. The worst part is when he inflicts this attack on you. You need to dodge at just the right time or your health will deplete a lot. Beating him in the original game doesn't reward you with anything, but in Final Mix you receive a new ability, Zantetsuken. With this activated, there's a chance Sora will perform a powerful finishing move after a combo, capable of taking out weaker enemies. It's a nice addition, but feels a little redundant considering how much you'll have leveled up by this point. Then there's the Phantom. If you head to the cabin in Neverland and get Peter to speak to Tinkerbell, she reveals there's something at the clock tower. And if you investigate, you're faced with this creepy thing. Fire! I actually think this is one of the best, most memorable fights in the game, based on its location and its uniqueness, so it's kind of a shame it's relegated to a mere optional fight.
This should help.
Going into this battle, it's advisable to have a lot of ether and elixirs to hand, as this boss requires magic to beat it.
Thunder!
The Phantom will flash different colours, with each one signifying an attack he's temporarily vulnerable to. White means you have to physically hit him, blue means you need to freeze him, red means you need to cast a fire spell, and yellow means you need to strike him with lightning.
Thunder!
Now and again, he'll also activate the clock. What does this do? Well, one by one, he'll take out you and your friends. As soon as the minute hand reaches 12, their time is up.
Poor Peter. He's far too young to die. Not that that's ever going to change, of course.
The idea is to perform the stop spell on the clock hand as soon as it starts moving to stall it. You need to keep your friends alive for as long as possible. Once they're gone, it's your turn. And if you run out of magic, it's only a matter of time. One more move you need to be wary of is when the Phantom hovers near the clock tower. He'll cast this purple magic that could kill you if you're anywhere near it. You can hit him to stop him casting it, but there's a risk you won't reach him in time, so whenever I see him about to perform this move, I quickly dive behind the tower like the coward I am. After beating him, your stop spell is upgraded. Which is kind of funny to me, as this boss fight is probably the most you'll use this spell in the original game. However, you may find it useful for some of the Heartless in Final Mix, which I'll talk about now. By this point, you'll have encountered many enemies, meaning you'll have access to the ingredients needed to synthesize everything. Once you've managed to synthesize the entire list of items, you can then farm the materials needed to make the ultimate weapon, the most powerful Keyblade. Now, one thing I noted was that it's much easier to synthesize everything in the original game compared to Final Mix. With the addition of so many unique and tougher enemies, obtaining the ultimate weapon is much more of a challenge. Interestingly, there's a Keyblade you can obtain from Belle after she and Beast are reunited. This is called Divine Rose, and it's far more powerful in Final Mix compared to the original game. I'm not certain why this is, but I assume it's because it's nowhere near as straightforward to obtain the ultimate weapon, giving players more of a chance to beat the optional bosses. The new enemies in Final Mix are real toughies, and getting some of them to spill their respective synthesis ingredients is, at times, a chore. I had to look up where to find one or two of these items. First of all, I had trouble finding Power Stones. These are actually dropped by the Sniper Wilds that sometimes appear in Traverse Town. And trust me, these guys are a pain in the ass. I'm not kidding, I hate these things. I killed a bunch of them and they didn't drop any items whatsoever, but after reading up on them, it seems they only ever drop the Power Stones if they've not detected you. Since I found it nigh on impossible to remain undetected and take out so many of them discreetly, the only way I managed to obtain these Power Stones was by first casting Stop Guard to freeze them in time. Another painfully irritating one was the Pink Agaricus, a large mushroom Heartless. Sometimes you'll enter a room and find there are 3 white mushroom Heartless that want you to cast Stopgar on them. If you find and cast a spell on all 3, the Pink Agaricus appears, and the idea is to cast Stopgar on him and hit him as many times as possible before he unfreezes. If you hit him enough times, he drops something called Serenity Power, one of the rarest ingredients, and honestly, this was a chore to do. I found it was best to use Diamond Dust, as this Keyblade seriously increases your MP. I managed to find 2 of these Heartless. One is around a treehouse in Deep Jungle, and the other is somewhere in Atlantica. But I genuinely have no idea how you're supposed to beat him here. At least in Deep Jungle, you can perform some special moves to get enough hits in, such as Ars Arcanum and Ragnarok, an airborne combo move. But underwater, the combat is quite limiting. Overall, I'm a little conflicted about the extra enemies. On the one hand, I like that they require some skill to beat, although some are so obscure that finding all the ingredients is a chore. It feels as though some of the leveling up pacing is off here. There were some EXP upgrades I was able to make a little later on, but by that point I'd already leveled up so much by simply farming for the materials to make them, rendering them kind of pointless. I feel the same way about the Ultimate Keyblade. I love having it, but I wound up making it so late in the game that I barely used it.
That's the power of the Keyblade!
Now, there's one more match at the Coliseum, and it's the Platinum match against the one-winged angel himself, Sephiroth. And this requires some skill to beat. As was the case with Ansem Riku, it's seriously beneficial to learn his moves. The actions he performs and things he says indicate what he's about to do, and one move you need to nip in the bud is this one. As soon as he stands in this position, he'll cast a spell that can one-hit kill you. Even if you have the second chance ability equipped, this can cost you the fight, and it's downright unfair. The fight can get pretty exhausting, but it is manageable. It kinda makes me laugh that after Sephiroth's dramatic exit, Sora acts as though it's just another round.
Nothing to it!
Yeah, says you.
As was the case with the Ice Titan, there is no reward in the original game, but in Final Mix, they grant you the one-winged angel Keyblade. Not only that, there's also an extra cutscene in which Cloud and Sephiroth come face to face. That's it for the original game, but the Final Mix version contains one more boss fight, located in the Castle Chapel, in the same area where you previously fought Dragon Maleficent. This unknown guy is actually Xemnas, who is Zeahort's nobody. And if you're not familiar with Kingdom Hearts 2, this won't mean a single thing to you.
Let's just say he's unknown and leave it at that.
I'm kind of ashamed to say that I went into this battle extremely unprepared for what was going to happen, so I panicked and fumbled this a bit. I won't lie, the fight was utter chaos, but I somehow made it through. Most likely thanks to all the leveling up I did while searching for synthesis ingredients. I think this guy might actually be the toughest challenge in the game, but is it a necessary addition? Not really.
What are you talking about?
It's a nice extra bonus challenge, but I don't think you're missing out if you've never played it. As a reward, you get an EXP necklace, and the final Ansem report. It's also possible to unlock a secret ending that plays after the credits. And the criteria to do so depends on the version and the difficulty level. Sources claim that in the PS2 Expert mode, you just need to seal every keyhole, but the scene didn't play for me initially. I'm not entirely sure what I eventually did to trigger it. Meanwhile, if you seal every keyhole and complete the Hades Cup in Final Mix, you unlock an alternate, longer secret ending. These scenes are a foreshadowing of the next main installment, featuring Riku and Roxas from Kingdom Hearts 2.
I love how dark and edgy they make Kingdom Hearts look when it's full of scenes like this. Jesus Christ, man, what am I playing?
At the very end of the game, you receive an ending screen. Now, if you're playing the PS2 version, in normal mode, they provide no stats. It's just a very simple ending card. But in Expert mode and in all Final Mix modes, you get to see how well you performed. Depending on the level of completion, the accompanying image changes, which is pretty neat.
But which version should you play? The original or Final Mix? Time to find out which one holds the key to success.
Oh yeah!
Obviously, most people will agree that Final Mix is vastly superior, and I'll concede it is, overall, the best version to play today. But saying this risks implying that the original is inferior on all counts, which I believe is untrue. Although Final Mix clearly looks sharper and the gameplay is a little more fluid, I have to say I'm still incredibly impressed with how well the PS2 game holds up. While at first it's a little clunky, the combat is solid once you've unlocked a bunch of abilities and spells. And the worlds are incredibly fun to explore, not to mention extremely detailed. Considering this game was released more than 2 decades ago, it looks fantastic. Not only that, but narratively, this game's pacing is great. Despite the heart jargon, the basic story is easy enough to follow, and the worlds all serve a purpose to the narrative, with the Disney villains joining forces to bring you down. In my opinion, this is something Kingdom Hearts 2 lacks. The worlds are still fun, but they largely feel tangential to the story. Since Final Mix is a more refined extension of the original, in layman's terms, it's the better enhanced version of the game.
Oh yeah!
But I don't actually think it's that simple. There are some changes I'm not keen on. The new Heartless are a nice addition, but farming for synthesis materials becomes a major drag. And as I said earlier, some changes such as colour alterations seem unnecessary. Put simply, Final Mix is mostly an improvement, but personally I think it also creates issues that aren't present in the initial release. Honestly, if the original game had been remastered as it was, with little to no additional stuff, I'd have been more than happy. But there's no denying that Final Mix has the better gameplay overall.
We're the champs!
In any case, whichever version you play, it's not hard to see why this unorthodox collaboration opened the door for one of the greatest video game franchises of all time.
That's the power of the Keyblade!
Hey everyone, a massive thank you for 10,000 subscribers. I've been intending to make this video for a long time, and it also took a while to make. I started work on this project over 6 months ago while I was working on other stuff, so I'm really happy to finally share it with you. I wasn't planning to have 2 massive videos pretty much consecutively, but things just kinda happened that way. Now, obviously, I don't profess to be the best gamer. I'm sure my frankly very clumsy fight against the unknown corroborates this. I got hit a lot. Like, a lot. What's more, there are many people out there who are far more knowledgeable than me about certain aspects of this game, and as I say, I'm not especially well versed in Final Fantasy either, so just be mindful that this is all just my opinion. If there are any majorly dissenting views here, don't take it to heart, guys. It's literally just my personal response. Anyway, as usual, thank you to my patrons. Alex C, Heather McKnight, Upside Clown, Anthony Gallagher, 3Spooky5Me, Voligo72, and Matthew Shaw. Thanks also to my free patrons, Yusuf Samuel, Alex, Samantha Thorngate, Mike Santana, Dinosaur Bites, Jennifer Erzan, Jeremy Miller, Yukanai Yuko, Alma Elmer, Kira Flameheart, D Snuts, Hannah Kingdon, Domino Shields, Janice, GamerKid96, and Mood Faik. And an extra special thank you to my channel members, Jenny Fox, Reunion, Jeremy Miller, and 3Spooky5Me. I am planning to make some more stuff available for you now that this massive project is out of the way. Otherwise, thanks again everyone, hope you enjoyed the video, and I'll see you again eventually. Bye bye for now.
Kyrie's inside me?